Yo, what is up boys, and welcome back to some more SCUM gameplay. So today the developers were so gracious to bless us with 2 hours of SCUM raw gameplay. I think it's the first time I've ever just played the game with friends on stream and shown off the core gameplay survival aspects, the enemies in terms of the PvE we're going to face in the game, a few of the weapons, and also they show off a bunch of features which we simply have not seen before in SCUM. So what I did is I gone ahead and compiled all of the notes throughout this 2 hour or so session, which I'm going to talk to you guys about in a short video today. If you do want to check out the full unedited video, then I'd recommend checking that out in the description below, but obviously it is a bit longer, so hopefully I should give you the TLDR of the interesting things which were shown off. Again, reminder that SCUM is coming out on the 29th of August this month, and it is going to be costing $20 on release. It's an Unreal Engine game. It has obviously multiplayer aspects. It does also have some PvP game modes in the form of events, but at its core it is a survival open world zombie game. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get into the notes and just read through stuff. I am going to edit the stuff in the background as well, so you guys can hopefully see some interesting stuff there. A lot of it was just walking around, but they did in the end go to the airfield, show off some of the melee systems as well, and some cool stuff like that. So you should see all that stuff in the back. Anyway, you are able to cut up zombies for food, and I can assume you can cut up other humans as well, but if you do have a sharp knife, an axe, or anything like that, once you have killed the zombies or the human or whatever else, again an assumption, you will be able to actually cut them up and go ahead and dismember them and then cut up their head after that and get some materials out of that in the form of steaks, so you are able to obviously eat them. I guess you can eat raw, or you can eat them after they are cooked on a campfire if you do so as that. Also, the zombies, you can actually take their clothes and items on death, and the same thing applies for when you're in areas where you'll find clothes. So you might find inside a box a shirt which could have some ammo inside it, something like that. But it's just cool that if you see a zombie with a cool shirt and a cool pair of pants, you can go ahead and kill them, and you can get those pants for yourself. It's not like, I don't know, in most zombie survival games, especially open world survival games, when you kill them, they don't really have any loot at all. I know Daisy did have loot later on, where you'd find a random item in them, but that's obviously taken a few years. Also, I will constantly compare this game to Daisy. There's a reason I made this video a while ago saying it's a Daisy killer. The game simply seems to be like Daisy, but in a better state right now. I don't know where Daisy's going to go, but yeah, we'll talk about that a bit more later. There's a throwing system. You can throw, it seems like pretty much everything inside the game, and those are like smooth physics-based systems, again comparing to Daisy, but if you played Daisy before, if you throw something, which you can't actually throw in 063 right now for some reason, but in 062 when you throw, it's very laggy. It seems to be pretty smooth. It's still not perfect, but it does allow you to throw items and weapons at other players and the zombies and the robots around the world, and it also just means you can throw things if you want for some reason, so that's pretty cool. There is some crafting of weapons, so you're able to craft spears, some knives. There's a bunch of stuff in the crafting menu you'll see probably at some point throughout this video, and the crafting menu will show you whether you do have the components, what components you need, whether you don't have it unlocked or enough skill kind of thing, so that's pretty cool. There's 3 different biomes which I talked about in this video, which was the mountains, the coastline, and just the normal inlands kind of thing. I don't know how different each of those biomes are, but it looks pretty nice, I think. I think the world is one of the weaker parts of the game, but they have said we are going to improve on it over time, so that's all good. There's a fame system in game now, which I haven't seen in the game before. Also, a quick side note, but obviously content creators have early access to this game. I can play this game right now, but it's NDA'd. I can't talk about specific gameplay aspects, and I obviously can't record or stream, which is why I'm showing you this. So although some of these things I might have known have been in for a while, I can't talk about the specifics unless they've been shown like here. But yeah, the fame system, I've played the game already, and I haven't seen this fame system before on the top right, so that's cool. So it'll tell you your rank, and it'll also tell you the amount of points you've got. The fame system's used for a few different things. Mainly the thing that most people are going to use it for is for a respawn system, which you see at the end. If you got 25 fame, you will respawn at a random place, I think near where you died. If you have 50 fame, you can respawn at a sleeping bag or a shelter. And then if you got 100 fame, you will respawn at a teammate. I don't know how abusable that is potentially, but that's how it is right now. Obviously, it could be changed. And also, the fame will allow you to maintain some skill progress. So if you have a character which you spent hours and hours, days and days on, you're going to really want to obviously at least have something out of that when you do end up dying. This also has the benefit of not encouraging players to just kill themselves over and over again to find their teammate, or just to get a good spawn, in quotations, to get near a military base or something like that. If you guys have ever played Daisy again, it was a big issue with that game where people would just constantly kill themselves until they spawned up below her. If you kill yourself in this game, I can only assume it's not going to be too beneficial, and you're going to slowly get rid of all of the progress you've made on your character. So that's not going to be something which is going to be too incentivized, which is awesome. There is plans to do some base building in the future, but it's not going to be in the form of, you know, building a little house or anything like that. It's going to be more so fortifying existing houses around the world, which I do like this take on the base building system. I think it'd be cool to just walk across a random house with boards on the windows and stuff like that. I just think it's cool, it'll look natural, it won't look out of place building a house in the middle of an airfield kind of thing. I'm sure limitations could be added, but yeah, I prefer this kind of base building than conventional base building. They have reworked the third person system, so it's no longer wall hack. If you guys seen SCUM gameplay ages and ages ago, was a certain skill you could level up, which would allow you to see where people were after you'd seen them, if that makes any sense. Say, for example, you see a guy run into a house, and he's an enemy, he's not in your group, you would see like a red outline of him, or a red version of him, behind the wall. That's been completely removed, and there is a third-person culling system kind of thing, although it didn't really show it in this video. So if you are a teammate of someone, then it will actually be invisible, even if you're third person. So if you're prone on top of a building, looking down, you will not be able to see people unless you physically look at them. At least that's the plan. I don't know how it's going to work in actual release, but that is something they have shown some gameplay of before. But in its basically when you were like a low level of a thing which was removed, that's how it worked. But now the low level is what everyone's got, kind of thing, and they're going to be reworking that skill, allegedly. There's only one server host on release, which is G-Portal, and we did talk about some parameters you could change, such as loot spawns, so that way you can see if you can survive just from the world itself. I don't really know what other parameters will be available, but it does look like you will be able to have not only the official servers, but also some community servers, which is really cool. So if you just want to play with a bunch of your friends and stuff like that, I'm assuming you can do that as well. I'm not sure how the different databases will work, whether those are going to be shared across servers or whatever else, but yeah, that's pretty cool, I'd say. We did also show off the pee and poo system. We have seen that a few times before, but we talked a bit more about sickness, how you can actually shit yourself, and I'm sure that'll have some negative impacts on the character. It will actually have some kind of attraction of smell, and obviously you do need to do this to maintain your character. If you don't do that, then, I don't know, try not peeing and shit in IRL and see what happens, I guess. There is the confirmation of a 24-hour day-night cycle, although we already knew this, but there is going to be 4-hour days and 2-hour nights for the start of the game. It looks like you can have 2 primary weapons on the back of your character, much like you can do in DayZ Standalone as well, so that's pretty cool. There's also military airfields, bases, which are underground, and these seem to have the best chance of finding weapons, as there is with every survival game. So you'll be able to find 9mm pistols, some ammo. I think there's an MP5 in the game, grenades, there's an AK, there's, what was it? I think it was the Russian sniper, I forgot what it's called, someone will remind me what it is. The SVD kind of thing I think is in game, stuff like that we've seen before, so I'm assuming all those will be able to find there, but you can also craft weapons, I think they mentioned before as well, which these craftables, at least some of them will be, from what they said, found from destroying the robots, which are around the island. There's the sentries, and then there's also the robots which fly around. You can destroy both of those, and they aren't going to be too easy to destroy, but if you do it, then you will be able to craft some weapons. A lot of stuff is, I'm sure, stuff they're talking about which is going to be added in the future, but in terms of actual core gameplay we've seen today, I still think we've seen quite a lot of cool stuff. So a lot of stuff might not be in for a while, but at least the core stuff which we'll see today is pretty cool. There's alcohol in the game, and you can get drunk, so that's cool. There's a bunch of different items for food and drink consumption. There is a group system, meaning grouping with friends is really, really easy. This has its pluses and negatives, but for me personally, I like it. There's nothing worse than being in a survival game and getting anxious over, you know, is that you? Jump check, prone check, that kind of shit. So you will be able to group up with people, and you will be able to, if you have a higher skill apparently, be able to have more people in your group, they said. And you can take over a group if you kill the leader, I think. So yeah, the player which you're in a group with, like I said, will not have the third person thing where you won't be able to see them through a wall or over a wall. And we also have name tags on them, just making, you know, grouping up with your friends a really, really easy system, which is good to see. It's one of the hardest things with DayZ Standalone, I think, getting new players into it especially. You spawn in, you get killed by some guy, you spawn in, you get killed by a zombie, and you haven't even found your friend yet. And then you just want to die, you know? Anyway, there seems to be quite a lot of a big focus on melee and melee craftables. So there is a decent amount of melee weapons in the world, and I will show some gameplay on the screen as well. But the melee looks like really fucking good. By far the best melee system I've ever seen in such a large open world survival game. So it does seem like, yeah, melee's got a big focus. But don't get me mistaken, there's still a decent amount of weapons, and that is still ultimately the end game. You are able to chamber weapons, much like in DayZ. There's a chambering animation, and you will need to find a magazine for your gun if you do want to use it for more than one bullet at a time, so that's pretty cool as well. It is possible to track animals, which is really cool, and also if you get a higher skill, then you will be able to track these animals a lot easier. There's multiple animals in the game we've seen already, like bears, deers, crabs, I think there's ducks, there is, I don't know if there's fish, but there seems to be about, I don't know, I actually know the number of animals in the game. I'm not going to say it, but there's a lot of animals in the game. But in terms of what we've seen so far, that's the little list, but it does seem like for an early access release, there's a lot of animals in the game already, which is really, really cool. I do have a literal list of animals, but I shouldn't talk about it again. But I can say there's quite a lot of animals in the game, okay? Just take my word on that one. But yeah, there's a reason why I've been talking about this game for so long. For the past year or so, I've made a bunch of videos and I've been saying, you know, it could be the Daisy Killer. I think it could genuinely make a big movement in the survival genre, just because of how much content is going in. It seems like the developers really just know what to do, and the game hasn't been in development for the longest time ever, but this initial release looks like one of substance. It doesn't look like it's going to last a day, and with a skill system, I think you could end up coming back over and over again. And also, speaking of coming back over and over again, there's also a proximity voice system. They did not show this in today's video gameplay, but apparently it's in, which is huge because it means you do have the replayability value of interaction, of trying to play, you know, a hero slash a bandit kind of thing, which is really I just died, which is really cool. Don't worry, we won't edit it out. So that's cool as well. It's a shame we didn't get to see it, considering there was 2 people playing today, but this is exactly what I like to see from these early access games. You know, I've went on about Identity over and over again, and actually one of the developers of Identity reached out to me today and said, like, blah blah blah, he was really cool. I don't hold anything against Identity, but the way they've presented the gameplay just is shit, to be honest. We haven't presented it in like a logical way. It feels like they're kind of like not showing things because they don't work, but this is just 2 players playing for 2 hours and showing the game and showing that it works to some extent. But it did show a bit more of the complicated systems with food and drink, how calories and stuff like that works. I think it's called the BDU monitor. You don't need to use it, but if you do want to see the actual detailed statistics of your character, like how many teeth they have, whether they are sick or not, how many calories they are in deficit, etc., and your heartbeat and all that stuff, which obviously increases as you sprint, which there is various different sprinting speeds you can go at, and also if you're fat, etc., then you will be able to last longer if you do have 0 hydration and energy. And also you might notice a character had those stats of pretty much 0 the entire time, much like in real life. If you're hungry, it's not going to be too good for you, but you'll be able to last being hungry for a while. It's not like you're going to die like that, so that's cool. Modding is a plan, but they said it's not going to be until full release. Obviously Daisy just recently talked about modding, and we are 5 years into their development early access cycle. The game came out in December of 2013, so let's just hope that this doesn't take as long for modding to be implemented, because I think this game with modding, especially because it's on Unreal Engine, would be fucking awesome. They also said they want to be in early access for around about a year. I feel like a year from now it's still going to be in early access, but whatever. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be full release after a year, so I wouldn't expect modding after a year, but since it is Unreal Engine, the tools for modding are pretty much already there, which is really, really convenient. They are looking to have a roadmap and weekly updates, they said. I don't know if these are going to be similar to kind of Rust updates, but a roadmap is going to be huge if they do stick to it, and it will definitely create some kind of faith in the developers from the players. It just means you're going to be coming back to the game over and over again, knowing that it is going somewhere, which is awesome. You can destroy the drones around the world, like I said before. These are ones which are essentially broadcasting for roleplay of the whole prisoners on an island killing each other kind of theme. So yeah, you can destroy those and get benefits from that, which is cool as well. Again, an end game thing. You're not exactly going to be able to do that as soon as you spawn in. Also, something which I didn't mention is fame. You get fame from doing pretty much any action on the island, killing zombies, or I guess killing other players maybe. Maybe if you kill a player who's really famous, I think that does give you a boost. That would make sense at least. And I've already talked about what these fame points can be used for, but also there is the event system, which is a bunch of different game modes, which is essentially like spawning. You can do like team deathmatch, you can do some objective game modes. This will also get you fame. So I don't know how that's going to convert to the core game. Again, this makes me a bit confused over, you know, what database is doing what. But yeah, you're able to do these events, try out several different weapons, try out the PvP, try out how the third person line of sight systems work, like I mentioned earlier, and you will be able to get some fame from that to obviously make your character last longer and be able to respawn at better places, such as on your teammate if you do so as that. That's cool. And it's nice to see those systems currently do work. It's not like we need to worry about group system a year from now, like they work right now. I don't know exactly how they work because when they started to stream, they were teamed up, I think, but yeah, whatever. There's also leaning in the game, which is cool, in case you guys were wondering, so you will lean and shoot. Also, third person and first person is in game. First person does seem to have a narrow FOV. I don't know if that's editable in options, but don't worry if you don't like third person. You can play first person as well, and I'm sure some servers will have, you know, first person only, third person only. Not hard to implement at all, but it does seem like the game is definitely designed for third person. I'm not gonna lie, first person just doesn't look the best, but there's still animation stuff there, so it's all good. Vehicles are planned eventually, and boats too. There's already skills in the game for those, but they are kind of like locked kind of thing. So we'll see those eventually. I don't know exactly how those are going to work, but it is cool that we do have this planned, and I doubt it's going to take like 3 years like I did with Daisy Standalone. Sorry, Daisy Standalone, but it's true. Fishing is not on right now, but they plan on having it later, and the map is, from what I was told, a 12 by 12 kilometer map, making it 144 square kilometers, which is a very similar size to the original Shannara, so you'll get a decent feel for the size of that. I'm not sure about player count per server. I think 64 is the number which was floating around. I don't know how desync it's going to be with 64. The desync didn't look bad in this video, but yeah, and also speaking of desync, we've seen at some point in this video, zombies don't go through walls, and they seem to just path pretty well, so that's really cool. It might not seem like a big deal, but it took years and years for Daisy zombies to not suck, and even now they still kind of fucking suck. I love the zombies in this game, just the way they animate and everything like that, the way you punch them and they, you know, get a bit staggered, the blood that goes on the floor when people injure each other and stuff like that, so that's really cool. It's just not going to break your immersion, and it's also not going to get you killed. So if you close the door, which you can close the door, you're going to be good to go. Also, there's vests in as well, and NVG, so there's a decent amount of military gear to progress to with your character, but that's going to be pretty much end game, you know, AKM, NVGs, vest, yada yada yada. So that's pretty cool. And I think that's actually pretty much it in terms of my note list. I don't think there's anything else here. Yeah, no, there's nothing else here. That was pretty much everything. There was a few other things which I talked about, which obviously you can check out the full unedited video if you want. I just wanted to give you guys a quick, you know, blast fucking fact sheet. I watched the full 2-hour long video just to write down these notes on my little MacBook right here to tell you guys. So hopefully that should give you a decent idea of what to expect for the early access SCUM release coming obviously August 29th. Also, since I talked about the whole content creators have access to the SCUM build right now, the SCUM ND8 build, I'd like to also remind you guys that obviously, well, not obviously, but you are going to be given content creators, allegedly, I guess we'll see when it comes to it, access to the game early to stream and to make content on. So not only are the developers going to be doing more streams on their Twitch channel at twitch.tv/gamepires, which is obviously where this VOD is from, but they are also, prior to release, they're going to be doing some more streams, so check out that, obviously. I'm sure we're going to show some more cool stuff, but they are also going to be giving content creators access to play the game early, so that way, yeah, I should be doing a 24-hour stream sometime before release. So if you want to check out the game, obviously just check out SCUM on Twitch, I guess, a few days before release, and people should be able to play it. Also, one last thing to know, although you guys probably know this already, there's obviously the system of getting wet, but it's also a level of durability and dirt of clothes. So obviously, you know, taking clothes from a zombie, stuff like that, they might be dirty. Dirty rags aren't the best for curing a wound. Those could cause sickness. There's a lot of detailed systems in the game. Some people would question whether it's too complicated, but I don't know. I'm just happy that it goes way past the bare bones, I think, requirement for an early access survival game. It has a lot of unique things going on. A lot of it is still very much early access, but I just can't wait for the release. It could fucking suck, it really could, but I think just running around, looting the world, learning what there is in the game, what there isn't in the game. I've seen the items list, I know there's a lot of stuff in the game. It's gonna be fun to just learn how the game works and, you know, grind out those fame points, level up your character, get in some cool PvP fights, maybe get some not role play, but you could role play essentially in the game, stuff like that. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you want to check out the full unedited video, there'll be a link in the description below. And if you, I don't know, liked me reading or writing down all these notes and making a TLDR version, let me know. It definitely wasn't the shortest version ever, but it was a lot shorter than the 2 hours or so we played, so whatever. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Let me know what you think. Peace.